Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. Distinguished guests, presenters, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, praise to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His blessing and grace. We are able to meet virtually for the second International Conference on Educational Leadership and Management, or second ICELAM 2021. Congratulations to the organizer, Institute Ahmaduddin Baki, for the commendable efforts in organizing this event. Welcome to our presenters and participants. The theme of this conference, Resilient Leadership in the New Normal of Education, is indeed in tandem with the current pandemic that we are facing. As the COVID-19 pandemic spread rapidly across the globe, many school leaders struggle to react both quickly and adequately. Although schools were severely affected by the pandemic, most school leaders have little to no training in dealing with a crisis of this scale. So, we are hoping that our school leaders turn to resilient leadership mode in leading their organization in these challenging times. Why resilient leadership? According to Professor Josh Kotreiser, the Director of High Performance Leadership Program in the International Institute of Management Development, based in Switzerland, resilient leadership is defined as the ability of a leader in recovering from adversity, adjusting to change, and having the ability to emerge stronger after setbacks and traumas. In other words, they rise from the setbacks and overcome great difficulties without engaging in ineffective actions. They focus significantly on the ability to withstand, survive, and gain normalcy when faced with challenging situations. Leaders who are resilient need to consistently seek knowledge so that they can adapt better to change. Through continuous learning and gaining new knowledge, leaders should be able to expand their skills, knowledge, and thus adapt to change more easily and more confidently. School leaders, as high performing leaders in schools, are expected to implement the concept of resilience as a way of helping teachers and students to cope with the stresses and strains of adjusting to the different ways of teaching and learning. In the advance of these uncertain challenges and risks in the VUCA world, which is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, school leaders need to master the concept of resilience in leading their organization. Knowing the characteristics of resilient leaders is important in order to be able to implement this type of leadership. According to CRI Group in 2021, there are 7 essential qualities that depict resilient leaders. The 7 qualities are: number 1, resilient leaders show empathy. They demonstrate empathy and a high level of emotional intelligence as they make their team feel understood and motivated. They create strong emotional bond with their teams. Second, resilient leaders are adaptable and able to improvise. They are flexible and adaptable. Challenges enable them to visualize certain actions as opportunities and especially focus on the thing that they could control. Third, resilient leaders are self-aware and open to feedback. They are confident and able to recognize their strengths and overcome their weaknesses. By asking for feedback, they demonstrate a real effort to improve. Fourth, resilient leaders take calculated risk. They accept that failure is a byproduct of innovation and success. Thus, they learn to become comfortable with being uncomfortable and thrive as the world changes around them. Fifth, resilient leaders keep a positive attitude. They need to be enthusiastic, they offer praise for success, and give credit when it's due. When they encounter failure, it is not viewed as final, but as a necessary step to move further. Six, resilient leaders develop others. They help everyone to learn from their mistakes. As they want and accept honest feedback, they are capable of giving productive feedback and coaching others. And finally, resilient leaders communicate effectively. They communicate their intentions effectively to others and are willing to help the team to understand a new strategy or direction. Effective communication help improve the organization, understand changes, expectation, and new directions. Ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic has presented one of the most challenging situations in maintaining school operation and implementing home-based teaching and learning, as most school leaders were unprepared to deal with the crisis. It is crucial for resilient leaders to comprehend the situation and consequently transform challenges into opportunities. The main priority of the school heads is to ensure that the learning process of the students continues. During the pandemic, we saw leaders embracing a shift in the delivery methods by adapting effective communicative strategies to provide information and updates to their organization. School leaders encourage teachers to use alternative ways of teaching and learning to ensure that teaching and learning process takes place. Facing uncertainties, leaders and teachers turn to information and communication technology or ICT to create networking and encourage the use of applications such as WhatsApp, Telegram, Zoom, Google Meet, WebEx, Microsoft Teams, and many others other tools to facilitate teaching and learning. However, one shoe does not fit all. In using ICT, many school leaders realize that many of the students are facing problems in terms of internet connectivity and devices. Once again, school leaders scramble to come up with suitable solutions. Every cloud has a silver lining. School heads and teachers were able to see opportunities even during the darkest moment. Worksheets, exercises, and activities for the student were then delivered to the students through pickup services, where students or parents were able to receive hard copies of documents and materials. These instances indicate that we have resilient leaders in our schools. They do not wait for the problem to be solved by others. Working together with their team, they turn challenges into opportunities in enhancing the process of learning for the students during challenging times. Ladies and gentlemen, as most of our school leaders are not trained in facing major crises, there are four fundamental steps crucial for school leaders to adopt during crisis, according to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, in an article, A Framework to Guide an Education Response to the COVID-19 Pandemic of 2020. These are the four steps. One, organizing a COVID-19 crisis response task force. Here, the school leaders should establish a team to plan, execute, and monitor solutions suitable to face the challenges. Number two, identifying the school's preparedness to manage crisis. This means that the school leaders would have to identify their current level of response, then decide what needs to be done next and what relevant actions need to be taken. Number three, gathering information for decision making. School leaders should develop a database of information to gather data for decision making and executing relevant responses to the COVID-19 related issues. And finally, improving the action plan. It is therefore vital for school leaders to gather inputs from all stakeholders in their schools to facilitate quick decision making and problem solving, as well as to foster speedy improvement. These four fundamental steps serve as guidelines that could be implemented should other crises arise. Ladies and gentlemen, IAB has played a significant role in supporting school leaders. This role has become more significant with the challenges arising in our education system in lieu of the global challenges. School leaders have undergone various courses offered by IAB, such as the National Professional Qualification for Educational Leaders or NPQEL, Strategic Thinking, and Risk Management. These courses help to prepare school leaders in leading their organization. In times like this, school leaders are challenged to put their knowledge and skills into practice. At the same time, the pandemic also poses a challenge to IAB in order to provide suitable courses to prepare schools. The main challenge is to discover new possibilities on how schools can ensure that their students are continuously learning and improving regardless of the situation. Ladies and gentlemen, in this time of uncertainty, there is an urgent need for school leaders to adopt the traits of resilient leaders, the ability to withstand, the ability to recover and bounce back amid stress, chaos, and ever changing circumstances are vital qualities for school leaders. Even when resilient leaders are faced with failures, they do not dwell on them but rather acknowledge the situation, learn from their mistakes, and move forward. Leaders can change the culture of their organizations. They could focus on the positive instead of the negatives. The process of cultivating such culture and building resilience takes time, attention, and practice. But the long term positive outcomes are well worth the effort. Enhancing mental toughness, highlighting and honing strengths, and fostering strong relationships are core competencies for any successful leader. An effective successful leader recognizes the importance of building resilient skill so that they can flourish rather than flounder when faced with setbacks and failure. On that note, I would like to share one inspiring quote from Elizabeth Edwards, an American author and attorney. Resilience is accepting your new reality, even if it's less good than the one you had before. You can fight it, you can do nothing but scream about what you have lost, or you can accept that and try to put together something that's good. Recognizing that the COVID-19 virus will be with us for a long time, it is more crucial that we navigate cautiously and deliberately through it. We must ensure that we have given our best shot towards educating our students holistically. After all, they are the caretakers of our future. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.